All right, man. So, I know you got the last, almost, you were the last pick of the Hoop Social draft, but
Yeah.
really, I don't think it was that bad of a deal for you because you got to go back to back. Um, Before we start the tournament, how are you feeling about your draft position?
I it's a tough one because I get to go back to back, but I have to wait like what was it, 8 teams, so like 14, 15 picks until between rounds. So I had to be like, okay, this guy may not go early, but will he go before my next pick?
That's fair. See, the way to do it is to just organize it, and then you don't have to worry about drafting at all. But there's your pro tip for the day, man. Let's get this thing going.
I'm your host tonight, Sean. I'm here joined by Trey. Trey, how are you doing?
Doing well. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. I didn't have to organize a tournament and a draft and everything, but you did. You saw the perils in that, but it is a lot of fun in the end. So
I mean, honestly, I got halfway through it, and then I just let them take over from there. So they got the draft finished up, and now I just get to simulate the game. So after we get off here, I'm going to probably do at least one game tonight.
fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, there's some good teams in there. I'm excited to see how my team fares out. I drafted a lot of the same players that I had previously. Obviously, '90s Jordan went number one, so that was off the table pretty quick. I had the last pick in the first round.
Do you know who your first pick was?
My first pick would have been I took Duncan second and Magic Johnson, 1980s Magic Johnson first.
Okay, so those were your picks right there, back to back. And then you got what? Scotty, Clay, and who did you finish up with?
Zion, not
Zion.
2023 Zion.
Yeah, it should
All
be
the
it
hype.
should be a good one. Assuming you're around, I'm going to do your game one first, so you'll be able to match up against Aaron's team, and he's got Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan and Oscar Robertson. So you've got quite the trio to go against. But those are the perks of getting to pick number one. So Aaron, congratulations on that. But I really had planned on us to talk about that stuff later in the show because I wanted to just start off being reckless. And I made a pretty crazy prediction last go around about the Timberwolves making the Western Conference Finals. I'm not going to go that far into the postseason. However, I do think the worst team last year, the Detroit Pistons, are going to make the play in, Sean. And I don't know that you can talk me off this ledge.
It's a sexy pick. They're gonna like to run. They held up a lot of teams last year. A lot of people rag on their defense. It can't go bad twice, 2 years in a row, can it? But I think if Cade's healthy, a play-in isn't out of the question in the East. I could see them being one of the people that just kind of mucks shit up and makes it into a play-in as number 10.
I'm really looking for Jalen Duren to have a huge year this year. My favorite thing about him last go around was he was a rookie and he was like the youngest one. And the worry for him was his frame was too small. He was too slight a frame to handle it. And even as one of the youngest rookies, if not the youngest rookie, he showed that he could bang with the guys. And I mean, he didn't quite hold his own all the time, but he's already getting bigger and stronger. And if you can almost hold up strength wise when you're that young, I have every confidence in the world you're going to be able to play center in today's game. So I think he's going to be a huge addition. I think Ivy and Kate are going to work extremely well together. And so I've got the Eastern Conference pulled up. Bucks, Celtics, 76ers, Cavs, and Knicks are probably all locks to be better than them, right? And I mean, Philly, I
Yeah,
guess worst case scenario, they
yeah.
trade Harden and Embiid gets hurt. Maybe they're not, but let's call those five right there. I don't think the Nets are better than them necessarily.
I
Here's my hot take. I think the Heat are gonna finish worse than the Pistons this year.
out of the playoffs or just in the play-in?
Oh no, I think the Heat are going to fall all the way out of the play-in.
Wow. That is wow. You double down, double or nothing. I've got the Pistons play-in, and I've got the Heat out. Trey, my God,
I mean,
has somebody done a check-in on you?
They've had quite a few long playoff runs. They already were barely they made the play-in. They were in the play-in last year.
Yeah.
So for me, I just see some regression there. They lost Strus and Vincent both. Butler is not a regular season guy. I love Spoelstra, and it's probably going to sound ridiculous, come looking at the play-in next year. But just looking at the teams, I see the Heat regressing this year.
It's
maybe not all the way out of the play-in, but I think the Bucks, Celtics, 76ers, Cavs, Knicks, Hawks, Raptors are all teams I like better than the Heat this year. And I like the Bulls better, but I mean, I'm probably a little biased there. But right there, I think I have all of those teams. And boom, you have Miami at 9. And what if Jimmy Butler gets hurt for 40 games?
Yeah,
or Bam.
Absolutely.
What if Bam's out for 40 games?
I can definitely see it. If they don't make any big moves, I think they need to make some moves to move forward, or they do have the chance of regression. That was kind of a lightning in a bottle this past season, from the play-in all the way to the finals.
Here's one that Caleb. I know where Caleb's at on it. Who do you like? Who do you think is going to finish with more wins next year? The Miami Heat or the Indiana Pacers?
Indiana. I love Indiana.
You did not even hesitate there.
No, I'm in love. They're my irrational confidence. You can't even tell me anything bad about Indiana.
What are the chances the Orlando Magic finish with a better record than the Heat?
That changed into the Garden, Florida. I can see it. I very much see your point. I think Miami does need to make a move, and this is obviously banking on them not getting Dame and that not falling through.
Oh yeah, this is assuming that Dame does not end up in Miami.
Now, where do we think that the likelihood of that is, Dame getting to Miami at this point?
I mean, honestly, I feel like it's less likely the longer it drags on, because I don't feel like Miami is going to have more to offer. They already have their picks to offer and Hero to offer, and we know that Portland doesn't want Hero, but I don't see other teams valuing Hero so much more later in the trade deadline that they're willing to give up enough stuff that moves the needle for Portland. So for me, I don't see Miami's value increasing. I don't see their offer increasing in value as this goes forward. So for me, I think it makes it less and less likely Lillard ends up on the Heat. What about you?
I totally agree with you. I think Hero would have to play out of his mind for that trade to end up going through to get more valuable. I think some other teams might come into the mix. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think it's over. They're not getting Dame at this point. And yeah, I'm going to join you. I think you've swung me over to that side. I don't think the Heat make the playoffs at all.
Do they make? Oh, I love it.
Oh.
It's just us betting against Tyler Hero.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'll take that bet.
And I mean, I told you it's getting late. We're in the darkest depths of the NBA offseason, and light is just around the corner. I know, but when you're in the depths, you make crazy takes. And I wanted us to get some crazy takes out there. And I think the Pistons being the play-in team for me, and us both going on the record saying we think there's a decent chance that Miami, unless they get Dame Lillard, they're not going to make the play-in, let alone the playoffs. I think that's about as bold as you can get when it comes to the East right now.
The only other scenario I see is them getting Harden. If there's a 3-teamer or something where Harden goes to the Heat and Dame goes to Philly, if Daryl Morey just starts getting crazy here. And then I don't know what the third team is, but somebody that's
All
willing
right,
to.
Sean. Just we can add the caveat that unless they add a big name, we're sticking with this.
Yeah.
I don't want in, you know, 4 months from now, Harden gets traded and Embiid wants out, and somehow Embiid ends up on the Miami Heat, and then us be like, well, yeah, you know.
You never know. You never know. People take things out of context all day, every day. So, just gotta have the caveats and everything like that.
Speaking of Embiid, has there ever been a bigger like flashing warning sign for Team USA than getting like 4 rebounds between their starting front court and losing to Lithuania than saying, please, Embiid, come pick Team USA to play for? Because I know he's got a few options, but I don't remember the last time USA seemed this vulnerable on the inside, especially just rebounding the basketball.
It's true. It's true. That's one of the areas that they've lost a lot. It's like in hockey when a country just stops producing their own goalies, they start bringing them in from elsewhere. Like Canada used to be a place for all the goalies, now it's Europe. So yeah, America used to produce big men, but now they're coming out from Dominican Republic, Cameroon, Nigeria, South Sudan. It's a global sport, and the big man is one of the positions that has gotten away from America.
Not only that, but it seems like before the bigs, you would find a big who could rebound. Like I remember Tyson Chandler being the guy on Team USA before, and Jaren Jackson Jr. seems to be the center of choice for everyone this go around. But he's just so poor at rebounding the ball that I think that has to be the focus going forward. I mean, I know Team USA is going to know this. Going forward, I fully expect them to gang rebound the ball better and just use their athleticism to still outrun teams. But, I mean, for me, it's just like it was the big red flag. The big red flag that went off. And as someone who doesn't watch FIBA, I thought it was kind of funny to watch Team USA get basically just out chess maneuvered in a very simple chess move, like almost out checkered, not even out chessed.
Yeah, but America, everything seems to fall their way, and they ended up getting Italy in the knockout quarterfinals as their first matchup, whereas Canada got Slovenia. So, fuck you, America! Like that's you guys didn't even win your group, and this is how it gets down.
Hashtag blessed.
Yeah, God loves America, I guess. He looks down on them. But that was talking FIBA. Anything else how's Ant-Man doing?
Oh, I don't know. How is Ant-Man doing? I haven't followed FIBA. I've done my best to just I've been playing video games and trying to catch up on NFL because it starts up in a week and I've been so behind on it forever that I haven't paid any attention. So for me, I think Ant-Man's still on track to do well. It's all about the regular season. That's what I'm itching to get to. I think the World Cup is interesting, but I don't have to pay attention to the World Cup because I have a cup now to pay attention to, and it's the NBA Cup, and I'm going to get this same exact format with all NBA players here very shortly. So I'm excited that the young guys are getting their reps in, and Tyrese Halliburton and everybody looks so talented. But I'm just ready for NBA ball.
Okay, so you'll be okay when we beat you in the tournament?
I will be rooting for you to beat us in the tournament. I think it would be good for the sport. I think it would be like I remember when the U.S. lost to Argentina like back in 2004, and it really kind of lit a spark under Team USA, and it was like, oh, we really have to pay attention. And I think the lack of rebounding was a very simple issue that they should have paid attention to. So for me, like you said, it's a global sport, and if Team USA needs to lose to Canada or whoever else to get knocked out of this, or maybe not even knocked out, but just to get smacked straight, they need it, and I am rooting for them to take this more serious and to bring a team that is more adaptable for different play styles, especially given the difference in rules.
Mm-hmm. No, precisely. There are some players that tend to be better at this, especially if you build them up. You kind of have to have a system that comes up from the U17 and the U19 and all of that, because that's the way you build cohesion. That's what these other countries have. That's why they have this cohesion. These guys have all been playing together since they were like 13, 14 years old in international basketball.
Yeah, and talent can supersede chemistry a lot of the time. We've seen it time and time again. But when the talent level has risen so much, and again, if you can't rebound the ball, what are you going to do? Like, having the ball is important, but honestly, I'm tapped out on FIBA. I'm just ready for the NBA. So we've made our wild takes for the East. I made a pretty wild one for the West in terms of a team that's making it. Is there any team that you see in the West just falling off, or any wild takes you want to get off your chest?
I think the Clippers are done. I don't think they make the playoffs this year.
No playing either. They're
No
out.
playing. They're the Heat. They're the West Heat.
Oh,
I don't see it going well for them. It just really hasn't shaken their way. Uh, that's unfortunate for Steve Ballmer, but no tears shed for him. Team, those are my two fall off teams. I really
all
like
right.
your
So
Heat.
I've got my standings up. Then let's count this out. You got the Nuggets, Grizzlies, Kings, Suns, Warriors, Lakers. There's 6 right there. I know that you like better than the Clippers. So for this exercise, I'm assuming you like the Mavericks better, right?
No, they're my other team that I don't.
Oh,
I
okay. So we're
I
gonna take
see
them out then.
maybe the play in, but I don't see them like when they got
Are you
Kyrie, they went backwards.
are
So
you in on the Pelicans? Do they make
yes,
your 10? Okay, so we're at 7.
yes,
The Timberwolves.
yeah,
So we're at 8. The Thunder.
yes,
We're at 9. So right now we're at 9, and you don't have the Clippers or the Mavericks. So for
no.
both of them to not make it, you have to pick one of the following teams to make the play-in: the Utah Jazz, the Portland Trailblazers, the Houston Rockets, or the San Antonio Spurs.
I like the Jazz for that. I think Lowry takes another step up and just carries that team. They tried to tank, but it didn't work
They
out.
did tank.
Well, they didn't do it very well. Unfortunately, they won too many games. Uh, so I think that team's on the come up, and Danny Ainge has turned it around quickly, like he tends to do at these places. Just no one seems to be taking him seriously when he calls to make a trade.
I mean, I would be frightened if Danny Ainge called me and tried to make a trade. I think I'd just hang up because I wouldn't want to lose to him, and he's so good at what he does that I would just be scared. But they went 2-8 to finish the season. For me, I agree with you in spirit. I think if Danny Ainge sees them heading that way again, I think they're going to be the team that tanks again at the end of the season. And I don't see Dallas finishing 2-8 to end the season again next year. I don't,
They had a
I really
losing
hope.
record with Kyrie.
I mean, yeah. Still, between them and the Clippers, it's hard for me to pick the Jazz over both of them. However, do you want to try and talk me into? I think you could talk me into the Rockets or Spurs before you could talk me into the Jazz. And
The
maybe that's
Spurs.
just me watching Lauri Markkanen on the Bulls for so long. And,
He's different now. He's totally changed.
I also remember February, that one year where he averaged like 25 and 12.
I don't see Houston. You could talk me into San Antonio taking the 10 spot, but I feel
I mean
better about Utah.
Houston's just Fred VanVleet for me, and just adding to the talent they have there. I could see him, rising the boat, but I don't think it's either of those. I think I'm going to ride with your Clippers, but I don't think the Jazz make it. I think the Mavericks, I think Luka finds a way into the play-in, but I think you're right. I think the Clippers fall out of the play-in. I'm going to ride with that one on you, or I'm going to ride with you on that one.
I think the Mavs have to get rid of Kyrie to get into the play-in.
Well, maybe they do.
Yeah.
The world will
caveat.
know soon. Okay, we've been doing this for 20 minutes. You got anything else?
No, I want to talk about the 2K Sim tournament here.
All right, so if you think your team's going to win and your team's the best, but
obviously, yeah.
I've sent the lineups out. Is there a team other than yours that you like to win it all?
Hold on, let me pull it up.
Ori's got a Jokic, Giannis, Larry Bird, Ray Allen, and Glenn Rice.
Oh, that's good. Glenn Rice and Ray Allen. When I picked Tim Duncan, I was like, I can't take Ray Allen now. I'm like, oh, who am I going to get to shoot for that? Yeah. No, that's a good one. Yeah, we've got Shaq, Garnett, Wade, Tatum, and Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, I like that one from Jonathan. And I was literally just looking at that one, thinking about bringing that up. I like Marcus's team. He's got Pistol Pete as his point guard for some offense, and T-Mac as the shooting guard for offense, and size on defense. But then he's got Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, and Hakeem Olajuwon. You're not scoring on that team.
No, AD gets to move to the 4 like he wants to. You have McGrady is long too, as well. So he can play defense as well. But yeah, those 3 back there, it's not looking good at all. That's where you want the 3-point shooters.
He really lucked out because he's going against Jordan's team, who has Bill Russell, Dirk, LeBron, Hondo, and Penny. But if you're going against LeBron, I think Kawhi is about the best option you have to try and go against him. So, and having Hakeem and Anthony Davis behind him, Bill Russell's not a guy who's going to necessarily make you pay on the offensive end, so they can maybe roam off a little bit. I think Marcus got a really good matchup in the first round, even though he was the 7 seed.
Yeah.
Man, you're going against Oscar Robertson, Michael Jordan, Paul George, Wilt Chamberlain, and Patrick Ewing. I think Aaron might have the team to be, and yeah, that might be because he had the number 1 pick, but he also picked the right players, so there is that.
No, absolutely. He had an awesome draft as well. I had the players that I was looking for that I ended up getting, and the interesting team is Nate's, really, with Kobe, Curry, Dr. J, Moses Malone, and David Robinson. Like that is a very interesting team.
Yeah, I mentioned to you on the trial run we had, I thought Steph Curry would be a really, really interesting guy to have on your team because of the way the offense works. They don't really run plays or anything. So if you can get a little bit of daylight, if Steph Curry gives himself the green light on that game, we know Kobe's going to shoot. So
yeah,
I'm not as worried about the lack of scoring with having those 2 guards.
Oh, I wasn't worried about scoring. I'm just like, this is you've got two great players in the paint. You've got mid-range Kobe, you've got long-distance Steph Curry, and you've got David Robinson mixing it up for the rebounds. Like
maybe the best offensive rebounder ever in Moses Malone.
Yeah, no, 2 great rebounders. That's a sneaky. Well, not even a sneaky good team. They're all great because it's like all the greats out there. So, but that's a really good mix. I really like that one.
But of course, you're going to win, though, right?
Obviously, I have to. That's just the way it's got to go. You got to pick your own team.
I love that you have Magic and Duncan. The Zion pick was a little questionable for me, but picking Clay and Pippen, the 2 best Robins to the Batmen out there, I thought that was an interesting choice, but I love Clay shooting next to Magic. And other than your lack of shooting, I think you've got a good squad, but the Zion pick is the one that scares me. 2K is vicious when it comes to height, and I know Zion's overall is really high, but he's still 6'6", man.
But he's my shortest player, so that's
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 very
not
true. That is
terrible.
very true. He is your shortest player.
Yeah, Clay Thompson I picked because you need the shooting because I remember you talking about Steph Curry, and then he went shortly after my pick because I was just locked in on. I honestly didn't think Curry would have made it that far, um, but yeah. So Magic Johnson is running the point. Zion, it's in the fast breaks. That's where you get the points, and then Clay Thompson just going to the corners.
That
That's
was
about
true. There
it.
were a lot of fast break baskets. So I'm getting ready. Like, we're gonna wrap this up here in just a minute, and I'm gonna go upstairs and get started on game one. So,
Well,
um,
absolutely. Where can the people find you at for the next time and to watch the replays?
I'm on Threads at Finally. If you want to watch the replays, I'm on Twitch, and I couldn't get the YouTube to connect to the Hoop Social YouTube yet. So both Twitch and YouTube are the at Finally. So Finally for everything. We'll have links posted out for it, I'm sure. Yeah, but Finally for everything. What about you, good dear friend Sean?
I'm just, lurking in the darkness, checking out tweets, not really engaging too much. So you can't find me anywhere really. But maybe I'll be on one of the Twitch streams and chatting, and we can. I'm looking forward to watching this game. It's gonna
You're
be
not
good.
going to make it for this one, but you got to go make a PlayStation account just so you can log in on your PC, and then you can join the group chat. Because so I'm pretty sure the way it works on there is if you join the party chat, your audio comes through,
Okay. All
but
right. I'll
you
have
have to
to
join
figure
the
that
party
out.
chat. So anyone who is interested in coming on and doing commentary with me for one of these simulation games, just hit me up, and I think it's going to be fun.
Absolutely. It's going to be a ton of fun. I love this. It's the future. We are totally not bringing any of the results. So, if safe betting out there, anybody. And thank you so much, Trey, for coming on and talking basketball with me. I look forward to the Clippers not making the playoffs and the Heat not making the playoffs. It's going to be good times.
We had some takes. You have a good one.
Yeah, you too.